And we reached out to Ryan Boutilier, who's the head coach and general manager of the Membertou Miners in the Nova Scotia Junior Hockey League, the Junior B Loop. Ryan, how are you making out with these weather conditions? And I guess how did that affect the Miners over the last weekend in terms of the schedule?
It's been a little bit tricky being home with 5 boys, and we're all normally at school. It's been a little tricky trying to get our driveways plowed out and keep everybody healthy and happy right now is important. We obviously lost 2 games on the weekend. Our home-and-home series with the Eskasoni Eagles were canceled, and even practice this week looks like it's going to run into some difficulties. We'll just kind of play it by ear as we move forward.
Your team was in the headlines earlier this year because you made a big trade with Eskasoni. We don't see that a ton in the Junior B League. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Obviously, our coaching staff identified some of the things that we had to improve on last year, obviously missing the playoffs. It was one of the more difficult things that our organization went through, but at the same time, we wanted to kind of keep our core group together. We lost 9 games by 1 goal last year, and anytime you lose 9 games by 1 goal, there's just that little piece that's missing. So we looked at what we need to bring in. Obviously, we tried to bring in some firepower from Eskasoni, and to this point so far, it's working out very well as we make that final home stretch for the playoffs.
Earlier, you had Cumberland County drop out, and they're a team that's in your division. How many problems did that cause?
It did a little bit, but our league did a very good job trying to move some games away. We try to do the best we can to play 2 games each week to work along with university and work and practice time and whatnot. What happened with Cumberland is once they took their leave, they were about 12 games in, and we didn't play them up to that point. All the games were more or less forfeited. All the teams received 2 points, and we just kind of went about it that way. And it's really too bad because Cumberland were a first-class organization, and they just kind of ran into some financial issues, and then I had to take that leave of absence for the year.
Any idea whether they could resurface? I know there's also talk about Cheticamp possibly wading into the Junior B League.
There's been some talk between Cumberland's ownership and Corey Doucette and a few gentlemen that are in Cheticamp. There's talk that Corey might be involved in a purchase there, and whether the team moves to Cheticamp or plays part of next year in Cheticamp, that'll be up to our Nova Scotia Junior Hockey League and the Board of Governors. That's kind of in their hands. But early rumblings and talk within the league is that there will be a team in Cheticamp at some point, whether it's the start of next season or the following season, who knows. But I think it'll be very good for our league to have a team in Cheticamp under a good ownership, such as with Corey Doucette.
You look at guys like you brought in, Sonny Kabaddi and Trey Sturge are obviously high-caliber players, but the league is not a cakewalk in Junior B. You probably have a lot of players in your league that could be playing in Junior A or higher levels that just decide to play home. Would that be a correct statement?
I think you're bang on the money there. You look at now, university has always been important to our players, but I find even more so now. Players really want to get their lives together, and they like playing at home. We live in a good area here, and we provide a pretty good product here. For the most part, players are staying home a little bit more now, and anytime you attract players like Sonny Kabaddi or Trey Sturge, Lucas Frazier, it kind of attracts more players to come home, and we just try to provide the best that we can for the players while still giving them an avenue to still go to university and still continue to work and just enjoy the game that they love.
With Kabaddi and Sturge, those guys obviously major junior experiences. That name value, you think, bring a few more people to the rink?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a real battle, whether we look at major junior, junior A, junior B. It's been very difficult getting people back to the rinks. We've done everything we could to try to promote the games a little bit more with giveaways and stuff, but I think we're all still kind of in that battle, bringing people back. But there's no doubt when you bring in names like Sonny and Trey Sturge, they definitely bring a little bit more excitement to the rink and bring out those people that you'd like to have in your stands every night.
Find the team in second in the Sid Row. Is this about where you would expect you would be? How's the season going on the ice?
I'm very pleased right now as we head into that final stretch of the regular season home games and we prepare for the playoffs. A record of 16-8-1. Obviously, last year, like I mentioned, it was a real eye-opener for our club not making the playoffs, and we really want to make those changes, but kind of keep that core group together. I think we're heading in the right direction with the pieces that were added. I really think this team was built to go a good distance in the playoffs. And success for us this year would obviously be getting to the league finals, but if we can get into that 5, 6, 7 game match against Antigonish, I think that would be one of the keys for us as we kind of move forward this season.
We talked about Membertou being a very busy rink. How does that relationship work out with Membertou trying to juggle so many teams? I guess it gets even tougher when you have cancellations and whatnot.
For sure. Membertou, it's a first-class facility ran by Paul Carroll. They treat all of the teams the exact same there. Anything that we need, for the most part, they provide within reason. And the teams work very well together, supporting one another. If changes have to take place, we do that for them. But we all have our practice times 2 to 3 times a week kind of set aside, and then we try to work our game times the best we can. But I can't say enough about Paul Carroll and what he does for all the teams in there and just how well he treats all the teams that are in there and the players.
Lastly, we'll give you the opportunity to highlight the outgoing players.
We talked about that core group that we had and a few guys that were tied into the Cape Breton Eagles in the past, bringing in free agents, Lucas Frazier, D-Man, Tyson LaFrenz, who was an Eagles draft pick, former Valley Wildcat, and Trey Sturge. There are a few of the guys that were tied to your team. Also adding Sonny early in the season from the Eskasoni Eagles. That was a huge pickup. Currently second-year forward Landon Clark leads our team in points, followed closely behind by Jared Hicks' line mate. Obviously, newly acquired Nathaniel Fuller, who spent 3 previous seasons with the Junior Miners, continues to add to his point totals, and he's going to be one of our key players as we kind of move forward into the playoffs. And we can't forget about our back end with our D-core led by Alex McKinnon. I'm very happy the way our scouting staff and coaching staff put together our 7D this year, and I think that's going to be one of our strong points kind of pushing forward towards the playoffs.
I wish you all the best with everything, Ryan. Thanks for this.
Thanks, Pat. I appreciate your time.
That's Ryan Boutilier. He is general manager and head coach of the Membertou Miners in the Nova Scotia Junior Hockey League. You're listening to Celtic Kubota, Cape Breton Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.